Back to Profi Plays. I'm Profi, and we're going to be continuing in our Shadowdark campaign following Varos and Sariel. Did I get the name wrong? Sariel, yes, okay, good, I got it right. Right, following Varos and Sariel as they are trying to unravel the mystery of this cave and what's going on with it. Right, so just as a reminder of what happened last time, right, so far in the story, we have Varos and Sariel that followed a will-o-wisp who had more or less like the Pied Piper drawn a handful of people from the little town of King's Ham out into a marsh where they discovered a cave. In that cave, they found some of the people who had left, but not all of them. The rest are not here. We're presuming they're dead. They may not be. Actually, we haven't actually established that in the fiction that that must be the case. But they also found here the merchants who had not been coming to Kingsham who normally would have, who then reported to us after we charmed them that it was easy to explain what happened. All that happened was that their horses went insane and brought them here to this cave where the um, the wagon crashed and the horses took off. Very simple. Right. So, and remember now, one of the things we're doing here, we're following the campaign structure suggested by Runehammer Games. And what Hankrin suggests over at Runehammer is that, right, first you start with the attack, which we did that. Then you need to reveal some mystery, so something is not quite as it seemed. And that is what happened here, and that it looked like this was a rather simple will-o-wisp leading people to danger at the very least and probably death. Now I discover there's something else going on because it doesn't seem like these horses were driven mad by a will-o-wisp. There's something else happening. Right, so there's the mystery. We need to figure out what is happening. Why is this cave significant? Why is somebody, and not necessarily people, but why is somebody drawing people to this cave? We have no idea. Right, so we have revealed the mystery. Now, the next stage, as we are still in the beginning part of the campaign, there is what Hankrin calls errands. So these would be like little things that we have to do to make sure that we're understanding what's going on with the mystery, right? To try to reveal the mystery. And normally they have this errandy kind of feel to it. So it might be something like we know somebody has some information, and then they say, "Oh, I'd happily give you this information if you do whatever." Right? So things that look like errands. And then what we need to eventually lead to is the reveal of the villain. Because these errands we're running are going to have to bump up against whatever the villain's plans are. Now, one thing about soloing is I don't know who the villain is. I don't know what their plans are, right? Which means what we're going to have to basically do is retcon, right? So after we do all these errands, we will then retcon what kind of villain, or I guess we will figure out what kind of villain did this, right? Set this stuff up that we're bumping up against, right? So that is kind of the way the structure is going to end up working. Right. But I don't think we're anywhere close to thinking about villains at this point. We need to get some errands running. So at this point, we are still at that cave, trying to figure out what is up with this cave. So what is important about it? So we have Varos and Sariel. We know that they're also Sariel, not Sirius, like he's Cheerios or something. No, Sariel. Plus, there are four other people in the cave. One of those, is Muriel, the elven merchant who told his story. The other three are still asleep. They appear to be in some kind of magical sleep. Um, Although it does, I believe, if I recall correctly, the role did say it'd be relatively easy to wake them. Well, I don't know that we want to wake them because they weren't too happy with us before. In fact, they knocked Veras out previously. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and set this stuff off to the side. So what I want to do now, well, we're going to investigate this cave. And so in order to do that, I think the debate is, do I want to roll for the investigation or do I want to just roll a prompt? I think I want to roll a prompt because the reality is that this is one of those things where if I fail the roll, it's going to be extremely uninteresting, right? So it's just, oh, we don't learn anything. I don't really have a plan B for that, right? So I guess we will, in fact, roll on a prompt. So I'm going to pull out from Shadowdark, from the Solo Dark prompt table. We are going to figure out what kind of clue we're finding. So I'll put my V100 here. There we are. So I'm rolling. First number is a 31. All right, so our first prompt, 31, is weaken. Trying to learn something about this cave, and it is connected in some way with the terms weaken luck. So weaken luck, something that's going on here. So what would that be? Okay, so what I'm imagining is while this cave appeared at first glance to be natural, like, there is nonetheless writing inscribed somewhere in it. And this writing would be something that it makes sense that Varos, being our wizard, it would probably be the most likely to be able to read. So I'm going to go ahead and check Varos's languages. Okay, so Varos can speak Common, Elvish, Sylvan, Dwarvish, Goblin, Draconic, and Diabolic. So he has a total of 7 languages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 languages here. So I'm going to roll a d8 to figure out what language it is. Right, so as they search around, they do find in one of the dark corners here, which means we have to have used a torch. We have to have used a torch because otherwise we cannot see in the dark corners. Varos is the one, he has 2 torches. I don't Yeah, and Sariel only has 1. So we will use one of these torches and tell him my camera is sensitive to shaking. It's always been sensitive to shaking, Professor. Fair. All right. So we're using that torch to look around here in this cave to investigate what's going on, and then I'm going to roll my d8. If it comes up an 8, we'll re-roll it. Came up a 6, Draconic. So we see it written in Draconic script, something related to weakening luck. So what I'm imagining here, right, that like I don't think it's not a spell. No, instead, it is a record. Well, this is a cave, after all. It makes sense. There might possibly have been a dragon in it at some point. Right. Right. So I think what we find here is writing in Draconic, right, about something about this cave, where the observation written in it is that those who spend a lot of time here find their luck weakening. Right? That is to say that they become more likely to have accidents. They become more likely to get ill. They become more likely to you know, have whatever problems I mean, have relationship problems or whatever it happens to be, and less likely for things to go well for them. So if they go out and they gamble after this, it turns out that they lose every coin flip or that kind of thing. Right? So there is something odd about this cave and what it does to your relationship with luck. Right? So it is weakening your luck somehow. So that is something that we have discovered. It's that this cave has this kind of odd magical property to it. Okay, so that is important for us to know. Yeah, and the next decision we have to make is, are we going to wake the other people up? Because, I mean, the town doesn't like us that well. So if we can wake everybody up and bring everybody back to town, that seems like something that may be worthwhile, right? That they might possibly appreciate this fact. And so I think that's what we're going to do. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to wake everybody up. So the question then is, when we wake people up, now remember Muriel is with us, he is charmed, he can kind of vouch for us. Are people still inclined, right, to attack us? Are they still hostile to us in that way? Right. So, and I'm specifically rolling to see, are we going to end up having to get in combat with these other 3 people? Right. I certainly hope not. I'm actually going to say it's unlikely because we have this charmed person who is speaking very highly of us and how helpful we have been in all of this. Right. So rolling, yeah, it's still a yes. It's a 13. A 13 is a yes on the oracles. That does mean that yes, they are interested in attacking us. Um, okay, it's a yes, but right. So there's something weakened about this. But well, I mean, they don't have any weapons at this point. That's something that's helpful to us. Right. So I'm going to say that. Oh, and they've just woken up, so they're attacking with disadvantage. So I think that makes sense. So at this point, right, we have 3 people who have just woken up. Each of them has 4 hit points, as we have previously established, and they are interested in attacking us. Right. Now, I'm going to say we start far enough away, like so. Now, I should also have Muriel in here. I'm going to make Muriel's a D12. He's a merchant. I don't think that he's going to be that interested in endangering his life. So, all right. So I think that when I checked the stats before for peasants, in effect, I will actually double check this just because I don't trust myself at all. Um, I'm pretty sure the stats said that they have 4 hit points on average, and that their attack is typically with a club, which would be a D4. And I can imagine that they could find something. Yeah, so it's a club. They get just one attack. Club is at a +0. Okay, so that's that. Simple enough. All right, we wake them up. They immediately recognize us, right, as being people who tried to get in their way before. So that means that they are still somewhat ensorcelled, as the case may be, right? So they are in fact interested in attacking us. Now, who are they going to attack would be the first question. Let's see. I guess I'll just go ahead and roll this. Are they going to attack Varos? Because at this point, right, we are all waking them up. The answer is yes. They will attack Varos. Right. But I have a but. But they're not interested in killing him for some reason. They just want to knock him out or something like that. So that is what they're going to do when their turn comes, but we don't know if it's going to come first, right? So they're on a 9. We are on 11 plus 1, I believe. Yes, so we're on 12. All right, so that means that we do get to act first. So I think the first thing we're going to want to do, so we have these 3 people on our side. Muriel is not at all interested in getting involved with this fight. I think Muriel is going to leave the cave. He is not interested in being here. So he is going to leave the cave. So we're going to go ahead and take him out of the fight. Okay, so he dashes out past everybody else, which, okay, fair. And just because he's charmed and friendly with us does not mean he's willing to risk his life to be friendly with us. I'm of the opinion that charm person does not mean that you have possessed them. Right? So then we have Varos and Sariel. So I think it makes sense, right? Sariel is going to. Oh, Mage Armor, is it still active? Probably not, because we've done a bunch of searching and it's only good for about a minute. Okay, so in that case, I think that we're going to have Sariel is going to act first, and he's going to attack one of the townspeople. Right, so because his weapon that he's using is a great sword, right? So he's going to go ahead and go up to one of these people. He's going to approach them, and then he can roll his great sword. He's attacking at a +4. Rolled a 19, so yeah, 23 I think will hit with their AC is 10. So yes, he did manage to hit, and that does do a 1d12 plus 1 damage. So it does 3 damage. So this guy is really hurt at this point. Okay. Meanwhile, we have Varos. Varos is like, oh crap, this is not good. He is going to start by using Mage Armor on himself. So let's get that back up. So remember, this is a diff of 11, and he's rolling at a +2. Oh, he's got 18. So yeah, so he does actually get that up. So Mage Armor activates, right? He is now much harder to hit than he would have been otherwise. Now the other 3 are the other guy's going to act. Well, certainly the person who is fighting Sariel is going to be interested in fighting Sariel, so he is going to try to attack him. Sariel's AC is at a 12, and this guy gets an 11, misses. All right, the other 2 are interested in attacking Varos. Right, so we have one comes here, the other comes there. And so they are attacking, but remember they're at disadvantage. Oh, I forgot they're at disadvantage, right? So the first one attacks at disadvantage, rolls an 8. That is not going to be enough because his AC is now 14. And the second one attacks and gets an 11. 11 still not enough because his AC is now 14. All right, cool. Now back around. Oh wait, with the Solo Dark, they do suggest using a Chaos mode. So us, we're on 8 plus, we're on 9, them on 13. So they get to act again. So number 1 is going to, I guess the one with 1 hit point is going to attack and definitely miss. One of them attacks Varos and does in fact hit this time. So that's a D4 of damage. So where's the D4? So there. And gets a 3. Right, so Varos is now down to 1 hit point. Varos is in trouble. Next then, the other one that's attacking him also hits. Oh gosh, she's out. It's happened again because even 1 point is going to be enough. Okay, yep, it's enough. Oh wait, I think I may have misjudged that because he has a 14 now. I don't know that we rolled 14. Let me double check that. Yeah, as if re-rolling it is going to get the same result. Okay, well, no, I think honestly think it was like a 12 or something like that, but I misremembered what his AC was. So, okay, so that came time it came at 5. So let's actually say no, he didn't get hit. I messed up. That's fine. Okay, so now back to us. We get our turn. Sariel is going to attack the person in front of him. Remember, this at a +4, and he rolled a natural 20, which means he gets to roll 2 dice. All right, so that would be a total of 9. 16 plus 1, 17 damage against the guy that has 1 hit point left. So this guy is down. I mean, now Cyril is not interested in killing him. We're not in that business at the moment, right? So he's while he's using a great sword, he's not chopping off the guy's head or something like that. Rather, he's just like whacking him. I think maybe like whacking him in the head or driving him unconscious, right? So he's very carefully calibrating his hit so that he's not killing this person. We do actually want them to survive because we would like to kind of be heroes, maybe. That might be nice. Anyway. Right, so then Varos, what is he going to do? I'm really tempted by burning. I've not done it yet. Let's do burning hands. Okay. So burning hands allows me to hit everybody kind of surrounding me in a circle, at least the way that I read the spell. There we go. So burning hands says spread your fingers with thumbs touching, unleashing a circle of flame that fills a close area around where you stand. Yeah. So I'm taking this to mean that there is a circle of fire around me, which then would hit both of them and would do 1d6 damage as long as the attack actually goes off. So we need to roll here. Again, it's going to be a diff of 11. I get a +2 on the roll. And 18. 18 is going to be a hit. So let's go ahead and roll that d6. And we'll see how much damage it does. It does 1 point of damage each of them. All right, so this fire's going. They're each like, ouch, that hurts. Okay, there we go. Now, rolling for initiative again. Now, Veros is in trouble. He's probably going to try to get out of there next turn. So their initiative is going to be on a 5. Our initiative is going to be on a 7. So we get to go first. Veros needs to hightail it. Okay, so Veros is out of there. He's down to 1 hit point, I just remembered. So he's going to run. And Cyril is going to step in and take his place. And is going to try to whack one of these guys. We whack one of these guys, then that, I think, will spark a morale roll. And he hits. An 18 plus 4 would be a 22. That's obviously going to hit. And d12 plus 1 is 12 points of damage. So yeah, so he manages to knock out this other guy. The last one, he has to make I believe, let me double check this, but the morale roll here is actually pretty demanding. Yeah, it's a DC 15. So this guy's going to make a roll. He does not reach a DC 15, so he's going to run. So he runs out right past Veros, past Muriel, who's also outside, into the swamp. Kind of at random, right? So this guy is gone. We have 2 other people here who are now unconscious that we need to somehow get back to the um, village. They're all in bad shape. Okay. So at this point, we have a choice, right? So I'm gonna say, like this is only a couple miles away from the village, so we could probably walk here. If it were like good ground, we could walk here in less than an hour. It's bad ground, so it probably took a couple hours from the morning for us to get here. So it'd take a couple hours to get back. Plus, we're having to carry some people. Right now, we do have some good space left in our inventories, so I imagine we could actually do that. We could actually get them back. I don't think that's going to be a problem. Right, so let's just say that that is our plan. We're going to try to carry these people back to town and see if we can figure out what's happening once we get back there. Okay, right, so we have a total of there are 4 people total. One of them ran off into the marsh. 2 of them are knocked out. We woke them up just to knock them out again. Happens. And then we have our friend Muriel, who is charmed. All right, so we're going to head back to the town of King's Ham, and I'm going to see if we can figure out what in the world is going on. That is our plan. Now, before we do that, one thing that I would like to do, I would like to actually roll for some treasure this time, and I think I can justify that. Right, so right, it is generally suggested, at least according to the Shadowdark Game Master Quick Start Guide, here's what it says about treasure and experience points and that kind of stuff. Right, so, all right. So, per encounter, each group should gain about 10 GP. Each group should gain about 10 GP times their average party level and value. So, we should get about roughly 10 GP in value. Now, one thing they also have here is so the 10 GP in value would basically be equivalent to, I mean, just looking at it, basically, I mean, 1 XP is reasonable for that. Right. So I think that this is probably so it's good value worth protecting, useful would be how that'd be described. So what I'm going to do, the way that I think we're going to get treasure this time is that we know that there was actually like a whole um, part of stuff that got dumped out here in the swamp. So I think we are going to actually try to dig through some of that, see if we can recover something. So I'm going to go ahead and roll for treasure that way. Right. So yeah, after this fight, we are rolling for treasure now. I rolled an 82, which is actually going to be quite a good treasure. Right, so one of the things we managed to pull out of the muck is a fine suit of chainmail. It is fine, it is very muddy, but it is fine, and it is worth 60 GP. So that being the case, 60 GP, how would that rank? Well, going back to the XP table, which actually, you know what? XP table, I think I printed out, so then I don't have to keep flipping around the PDF. XP, so Mithril Chainmail would be considered fabulous, worth 3 XP. Fine. Oh, fine armor. Fine armor would be normal, so it'd be 1 XP. Right, so I think they each got an XP, so that's the first XP we actually got. And we also have this nice chainmail, which is a little bit better than the leather armor that Sariel previously had. So I think that's where we're going to end it. So next time we are going to arrive back in town. After we arrive back in town, we're going to try to unravel more of the mystery of what is it exactly that's going on here. And we'll figure out what our next steps are from there. Right. But at the very least, what we know now is that there's something about this cave that makes people less lucky. So somebody is trying to hurt people's luck. We don't know why, but we know that this is happening. All right. So I think that that's it. That's a pretty good session. Um, we'll also definitely want to rest. Poor Varos. Poor Varos. This poor guy. All right. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and let's call it there. So this is Profi signing out.